The Midnight Whispers. Eliza wanted a fresh start, and the small town of Whistlewood seemed perfect. Hidden in the hills, far from the busy city, Whistlewood was peaceful and charming. The old houses, quiet streets, and friendly, though slightly odd, locals made the town attractive. Eliza moved into a small cottage on the edge of town. It was covered in ivy and had a garden that needed care. After years in the city, the calmness was just what she needed. In her first week, Eliza enjoyed the town's simple life. She unpacked her things, explored, and met the locals. However, she noticed something strange. It felt like everyone was waiting for something to happen, a feeling that grew stronger each day. By the second week, Eliza saw the townspeople acting strangely. Every night, just before midnight, they would stop what they were doing and listen closely, as if they were expecting to hear something. Curious, Eliza asked some of the locals about it, but they gave unclear answers. "Just a tradition," one woman said with a nervous smile. Another person shrugged and said, "You'll get used to it." Intrigued, Eliza decided to stay up late one night to see what was happening. As the clock ticked towards midnight, she sat quietly in her room, waiting. When the clock struck 12, she heard it, a faint whisper, so quiet that she could barely hear the words. It was like the wind was speaking. But the words were unclear and Eliza couldn't understand them, leaving her confused. The next day, Eliza overheard people in the market talking about the whispers. "Did you hear last night's whisper? It said the bakery would run out of bread, and it did," one woman said. Another person agreed, saying the whisper had predicted rain, and sure enough, dark clouds were forming. Eliza felt a chill. These whispers were not just strange, they were predicting the future. As the days went by, Eliza became more curious and worried. Every night she tried to listen, hoping to understand the whispers, but they remained unclear. Unlike the townspeople who seemed to understand them easily, Eliza could never make out the words. She began to feel isolated, wondering why she couldn't hear them clearly like everyone else. One evening, feeling frustrated, Eliza took a walk through the empty streets. It was just before midnight, and as she walked, she noticed something strange. The few people she saw were standing still, with their heads slightly tilted, listening to the whispers. Their faces were blank, almost as if they were in a trance. For the first time since she arrived, Eliza felt a bit scared. Determined to find out the truth, Eliza started experimenting. She kept a journal, writing down what she did each day, and trying to guess what the whispers might say based on her actions. To her surprise, she began to see a pattern. The whispers seemed to reflect her actions, predicting events based on the choices she made. Eliza was shocked to realize that the whispers weren't predicting the future, they were reacting to her. Somehow, her mind was influencing them, causing the events they predicted. This discovery was both exciting and frightening. How could this be happening? What did it mean for her and Whistlewood? As she thought more about it, Eliza began to wonder if the whispers were a self-fulfilling prophecy. The townspeople had believed in the whispers for so long that they accepted them as true. Maybe it was their belief that gave the whispers their power. To test her idea, Eliza changed her routine. She took different routes through town, bought things she didn't need, and visited places she usually avoided. That night, the whispers were mixed up and confusing. The townspeople seemed unsettled, unable to understand the predictions. Eliza realized that by changing her actions, she had disrupted the Whispers' ability to predict the future. The Whispers had no real power. They only had the influence that the townspeople gave them. Eliza was different. She didn't believe in the Whispers, so they had no control over her. With this new understanding, Eliza knew she had to make a choice. She could leave Whistlewood, letting the town return to its strange routine, or she could stay and try to break the cycle. The idea of telling the truth to the townspeople was scary. They had relied on the Whispers for generations, and it could be hard for them to accept the truth. But Eliza couldn't ignore what she had discovered. She decided to stay and slowly encourage the townspeople to question the Whispers, to trust their own decisions, and to shape their own futures. It would be a slow process, and she knew it wouldn't be easy, but Eliza was determined to try. Over time, the Whispers began to lose their power over Whistlewood. The townspeople, once so dependent on the Whispers, started to make their own choices. Eliza realized that the future wasn't something to be whispered about. It was something they could create for themselves.